Why do the rich become richer while the poor get poorer in society? So, what exactly is the science underlying all of this? Despite millions of individuals escaping poverty and becoming millionaires, most individuals will not succeed. There were more than 724 American billionaires worth more than $3 trillion in the United States as of 2022. The government program, which was supposed to aid the average person, really helped the wealthy the most. After all, according to a study, most consumers spend the money they saved on necessities on online purchases. I suppose these tech CEOs benefited the most from this program. Is being born poor your fault? Is it possible to become financially independent and wealthy? Welcome to Capital Finance. For today's video, we will talk about the steps to break the cycle of poverty and address some questions you've been wanting answers for. But before we start, make sure to like this video and leave a comment below. First on the list, make a detailed blueprint. If you don't know how to get out of poverty, you'll always be stuck in it. There is no time limit for accomplishing that objective. You won't be able to save and invest money if you don't have a strategy. For the sake of argument, let me use an imaginary situation. Let's assume you spend $30,000 a year on your lifestyle. You're wasting your time if you don't know how to earn a passive income of $75,000. But how do you come up with a strategy like this one? Previously, we've talked about this, but here's a quick summary. You must invest in long-term income-producing assets such as real estate, equities, securities, or a company that requires little or no supervision. For example, it is possible to buy a $300,000 home and then rent it out for $3,500 a month or $36,000 a year. As a result, you'll need at least $39,000 in two rental houses before considering yourself financially independent. That's one method of going about it. Other methods are available as well. As an example, you may borrow money and let your renters pay it back, allowing you to generate some extra income from each home. Or there's always the stock market, which is a long-term rate of return of 15%. What matters is that the strategy is in place and appears to have a substantial likelihood of success. It's entirely up to you how much money you set aside to achieve this goal. 15%, 30%, or even 80%. As most people would say, I'm just living from paycheck to paycheck. It's impossible for me to save and invest that much money. Next, knowledge is power. Imagine making $150,000 a year or $400,000. Now that you're making $80,000 a year, it's demoralizing to think that you can do it because you're directly comparing the $400,000 and the job you already have. To make 7 figures working 12 hours a day, you need to make at least $300 an hour, and it appears that no one will pay you that much for most jobs. However, this does not imply that there are no avenues for earning such a sum. Only if you know how to find out can you make more money than that. You must continue to learn because of this. That's not possible if you spend all of your time working at a low-paying job. When you're done with your job, you have two options. You can either find more time to work on yourself, or you can simply cut back on your costs, denying yourself some of the things you want so that you may work fewer hours to pay the bills, and you'll have more time to focus on yourself. Get some books, learn about your abilities, and slowly apply what you've learned. If you want to succeed, you must keep in mind that it will take time. Number 3. Set up a habit that is both tedious and effective. Once you have a good strategy in place, it's time to establish a daily schedule. You don't have to go on trips every day. With no set schedule, it's impossible to get anything done. I don't care what you see on social media. It's all a lie. Everyone that earns a living isn't like that, and I can tell you that for the most part. Because of their wealth, most people's lives are pretty monotonous. It's tedious, but it gets the job done. You can make significant improvements while doing the same thing day in and day out for months or even years. Have you heard of the gym example? Going to the gym daily and doing the same workouts repeatedly is the only way to get a terrific physique. Yes, there are moments when you test out better equipment, but you generally stick to the same routine. At least once a week, you work out different muscle groups. For the first 1 or 2 years of consistent workouts, you begin to see the results of your hard work. Everything in life works this way, even money. So don't be depressed when looking at your social media account. Concentrate solely on your strengths. No one can choose the way they are born. While some of us are fortunate enough to have been born with a lot of money, others aren't. While being born poor isn't your fault. If you're going to live a life of poverty, it's gonna be your decision. Realities differ from person to person. Being born on a remote Pacific island where there is no infrastructure to help you generate riches is an entirely different experience than being born in a first world country such as the United States. However, because of the growth of the internet, you can now learn and even start a business from anywhere in the world. Number 4. Accept that no one will be prepared to support you other than yourself. Having someone who can lend a hand is always a good thing, even if it's the government or your parents. No one really cares about you but yourself. Of course, your parents want the best for you. It's doubtful that someone who's also struggling will be able to provide you with proper financial assistance. If they could, you would have been out of that situation long ago. Most people usually blame someone, especially the government, which is meant to take care of them when they are in financial trouble. As long as you don't rely on the government to provide for your well-being, you'll have to wait a while. Nobody can assist you as much as you can help yourself, and you have to be absolutely sure of this in your own mind. Making that decision is the first step toward real progress. Last on the list, avoid taking jobs that pays little. Getting a minimum wage job is not something I oppose. Getting these kinds of jobs as a kid is a great way to learn the fundamentals of business and finance, as well as how to manage your finances responsibly. Most individuals fall into a low-paying job and never escape it. When you're a kid growing up in poverty, every penny counts, every dollar counts, and you have very few desires and needs. With just a few $1,000, you can have just about whatever you desire. All you need is a decent place to live, some decent food, and the luxuries that everyone else enjoys. That first job as a teenager gives you with enough money to meet those demands, but in exchange, you have to give up most of your free time. As a result, you end up locked in a profession that doesn't give you with the skills you need to grow your income year after year while still meeting your fundamental necessities. A low-paying job provides immediate delight but provides little long-term value. You'll soon be able to afford a car loan, the latest iPhone, and a night out with pals if you work hard enough. However, you will not have the luxury of free time to concentrate on improving yourself and increasing the value of your time. As a result, learning to delay pleasure is an important life skill. As I mentioned before, to get started, you need to hit the gym. No matter how many times you go to the gym, no matter how long you stay, you will not notice any progress. For real change, you'll need to go to the gym at least 4 or 5 times a week, hitting each set close to failure for at least a year to notice a noticeable difference. You'll learn a lot about perseverance and hard effort from that experience, which will serve you well in the future. Thank you for finishing this video, and I hope you learned a lot. Now, which topics do you want us to tackle next? Comment your ideas below and we'll see. Again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updated on my latest uploads. See you next time.